and the I will move this into Chrome. Okay. See, basically every day what I usually do is like I will just copy the course content from there. Okay. So copy the course content from here, our course details, and I will just put it in our day-to-day activities, and I will just keep on updating. Like first we will discuss about the release version, implementation, and all these things, like step-by-step process, which I will be copying and pasting the details, and we will be completing of each and every activity. Okay. For instances, this is the general ledger, and this is about the AP part. What are the things which we have explained, and whether the topic has been completed or not. If there are any
Hello.
remarks. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Are you able to tell me?
Hi, Srinivas, your voice is not at all clear. I'm not able to understand anything.
Can you check your mic or something? Is it for everyone?
It's echoing or something.
Yes. Your voice is not clear.
Is it clear now?
No, is okay.
Is it fine?
Yeah.
Can you cross it?
Better.
Okay, fine. Fine, guys. Yeah. Okay. So this is how you will be able to see, like I will be using this Excel sheets. Okay. So what I usually do is I will just copy the course content details. So here is the course content details. I will just copy the details from here, and I will paste it into one of the Excel sheets, and I will be explaining this about the topics part and everything, and I will be marking as a done. If it is completed, once it is completed, I will be marking this as a done. Like this, the process of a class will be moving on. If any remarks or something like that, so I will just maintain the questions, open questions here. So a couple of questions were asking open interface, open invoices, load into Fusion application, bank file transmission, something like that. If they ask any questions or something, I will highlight all these questions, and I will again explain about those topics in the same session, if not in the upcoming sessions, because we have the sequence, right? We have to follow the sequence as per the flow. Okay, we have to go as per the flow. All of a sudden, if you are asking about a bank creation right now, I can't create it right now, right? So there is a situation, there is a time wherein, when at that point of time, I can create it and I can show you how to do that and everything, right? Like that. So that's how the process goes on a daily basis. And now we will just focus on our today's activity. Okay. So this is our course content. And now I will just create a new Excel sheet for us. Something happened to this. All of a sudden my right click was not working. I don't know, but I will check it later time to time. Okay, I will just open a new Excel sheet. So today we will discuss a little bit about the Fusion enterprise structure and e-business structure part. Okay. Okay. Today we will discuss about Fusion enterprise structure. Okay. So Fusion enterprise structure. How does this enterprise structure looks like in your Fusion application? Okay. So first, in Fusion enterprise, here you will see enterprise. Okay. Enterprise, and then after we will see division, and then after we will see primary ledger, relevant piece, and then we will see business unit, and then distribution center. So you can call this again distribution center. Okay. So this is how your Fusion enterprise structure. How does it looks like in e-business software? Okay, in e-biz software. So this is no more existing. I mean to say that e-business software, there is no comparison at all, but just for your better understanding, because people, people were asking, right, how you want to compare with our e-business software to the Fusion application. So that is the reason I'm just trying to compare. Okay. So in e-business software, we call this as a multi-org structure. Okay, in Fusion it is called as enterprise structure. Okay, so here the same enterprise remains. Here the Fusion called in Fusion they called it as an enterprise. Here the people call it as a business group. Let me finish all the topics, again I will explain. Okay, so there is no division at all. Here this division is also optional. Okay, so we don't have any division concept in e-business software. So we have the same primary ledger, legal entity remains the same, that same naming convention, and as well as the process front and everything remains the same here. And here when it comes to the business unit, we call this as an operating unit. Okay, when it comes to the distribution center, here we call this as an inventory organization. So only the naming convention different, but everything remains the same. Okay. So you can see here the same process flow will be here and here. Both are in the one-way direction. Left from business group, primary ledger, legal entity, operating unit, and inventory organization. This is how you do that. So just focus on the first business group. I will explain a little bit about the business group and then we will just move on to the enterprise structure. How does the enterprise and everything? Yeah, someone is having any questions? Okay, are we good to go?
Yeah, go.
Fine. Yeah, fine. In the business group, so business groups, you can create multiple business groups in single instance. For each and every country, we can have a different BG. For an example, your organization is registered in USA and your organization is registered in UK and your organization is registered in UAE. So you can have BG USA and BG UK and BG UAE. Like that, you can have multiple BGs as per your e-business software, multiple BGs. What does the BG does? So that is nothing but a business group. So wherein your payroll information and everything will be generated based on your country location. For an example, USA, take about USA, they will be having around 5 working days. Okay, and 5 working days, Monday to Friday, something like that. And as well as hours consideration also, they will be working 8 hours. When it comes to India, people work for 9 hours in a day. Something like that. They will follow the rules, laws, regulations and everything based on the labor laws and everything. They will follow based on that. They will go with their particular location path. When it comes to UAE, so here it is Monday to Friday is working day and Saturday and Sunday is an off for us, like that. So when it comes to UAE, Sunday to Friday is a working day and Friday and Sunday to Thursday is a working day, Friday and Saturday is an off for them. So something like that. Okay. So those are all the things, the classifications and everything can be defined when it comes to the BG part. You can define there. Okay, business group. You can create a particular BG and you can assign the particular BG to your payroll information. From there, your payroll information will get generated. Okay, but when it comes to enterprise structure, you will be having only one. One enterprise structure. Okay, you will be having only one enterprise structure, and okay, and this you will be assigning to a name called LDG. Okay, so that is nothing but legislative data group. Okay, so this is this enterprise structures will be having only one, and this will be assigned to a legislative data group. So this will be assigned to legislative data group. One second, guys. Yeah. So you will be assigning to legislative data group. So you don't have multiple DGs. You will be having only one enterprise structure. So something like naming convention. For an example, if you're working for IBM or something like IBM enterprise structure, or HCL enterprise structure or anything XYZ enterprise structure. That's it. You will be having only one enterprise structure. Under that, you will be have LDG, Legislative Data Group. And this LDG is also specific to HR and the payroll information. Okay. For each and every country, this LDG will taken care in the Fusion application. So we don't have same thing named like a DG or something like that. We will be having a concept called LDG here. Okay. So don't worry, we will discuss that. Everything, the complete structure we will design in our application from scratch, from zero level we will go and we will design everything and I will showcase you where and all it happened. Okay. So division, when it comes to the division part, in e-business also we have a division. For example, in your chart of account, you can add a segment. Okay. You can add a segment called as a line of business or something like that. You can add as a segment. So in your chart of account, most of the people might be heard in the chart of account, right? Most of the people are already aware of it. Chart of account, you will be creating like company or entity, okay? And then you will be creating the department, account, product, okay? Product, intercompany, something like a future one and future two, something like that, right? Future two. These are the things which you will be seeing in our day-to-day e-business RTL platform. Right, this is about the chart of account. So in e-business RTL, we don't have a concept of division, but if you want to add a division, so that in this particular chart of account, we can add here a line of business. Okay. Line of business means like what are the business activities you want to consider, then that is called as a line of business. That is the thing which you can do in your e-business RTL. But here that division is nothing but the same concept. The same concept applies here as well. But here they clearly mention like this division concept is also available. If you want, you can use it. Otherwise, you can leave it like that. Means you can, if this is purely an optional, it's up to you. If you want to go ahead and you can use this one. Okay. For an example, what is meant by division is you are doing, for an example, take about a company which is doing an automobile and which is doing consulting, which is doing manufacturing, which is doing contracts, which is something like that. So those are all the things which you can define in the terms of division, in the concept of a division part. Okay. And this also can be based on the location, geographical location part, like PAC, Asia, EMEA, and something like that. You can define this particular division based on the location front as well, geographical location front as well. Okay, so that's the concept about the division. It's purely an optional in Fusion, and here also in e-business RTL also it's a purely an optional. In e-business RTL we don't have a concept of division, but then if you want to add it, yes, you can go ahead and add it by adding the line of business in your chart of account segment part. Okay, so that's about the division part. So now, next one is the primary ledger. Does anyone have idea about the primary ledger? How does the primary ledger works it? And what is the importance of getting all the data into primary ledger? Can anyone respond on that? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, Srinivas, I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, when you said this division are optional, but then we used to have a chart of account even in RTL also, right?
That's what I mentioned, right? Yeah, go ahead.
And also, when you said that business groups, USA, UK, this used to be there in RTL, but they would definitely roll up to someone parent, or no? There was no parent concept in RTL, is it?
I did not get your question. You mean to say that all the business groups should go again to one business group? You mean to say that?
Yes, like, like say Bank of America has different kind of places where it can do business, but ultimately the parent will be America, right?
Okay, yes.
So in that concept, then the business group, when you said USA, UK, UAE, it might have different kind of
That's what you
say
can
region
define.
based.
Like, see, you can define it. It's up to you, because if your organization in USA is, if it is head office is in one location, then you can define only one USA location part, and you don't need all the things as well. But in e-business Apple, we have an option. You can create multiple business groups. That's what I'm trying to tell you. In e-business as well, we have an option called multiple options are also available. But it's all up to you. If you want to use it, yes, you can do it. Again, if you want to create a group on top of that, yes, I'm not sure whether it is possible or not, but definitely there are options. So what I'm trying to tell you is there is a one, yeah.
So then there is no major difference. Just the terminology is different between enterprise and business groups. Then?
That's what you see. I have to compare, right? So in e-business Apple, you call that as a business group. Here you call this as a legislative data group. That's what I'm trying to tell.
Okay, so it's just a terminology difference, although
Yes,
the
yes,
function or the properties
yes.
are almost same.
Yeah. So here, if you compare here, the business unit is one and the same. Means it will work in the same manner whatever this operating unit does. But you should know the terminology of a business unit, right? For a business unit, whatever the functions are doing in the fusion, or what are all the features are available in the business unit, it's all more or less equivalent to the operating unit. So there are people who already worked on e-business as well, right? So they should know the difference, so that they will get a glance. Like, I need not more emphasize on that particular area. For an example, what does the operating unit does? Do you have any idea what does the operating unit does? Have you worked on e-business as well? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have any idea about the primary ledger?
So primary ledger is nothing but we can say it's a one book. It is more like where we used to have set of book in 11i. So it's a
Yes.
book for specific region or country, or like for example, you can have one ledger for USA, one for UK, or maybe multiple ledgers for UK,
Okay.
something like that.
Why we are
Yeah.
creating multiple ledgers?
So if you have different set of rules, then you will have different ledgers, which will roll up to one
That's what.
primary
So
ledger,
yeah,
right?
1 second. There is nothing called rules and everything which is aligned to this particular primary ledger. That's what I'm trying to tell from scratch is, I'm just trying to explain from my side, so that whatever the things you have in your mind, it's okay. Okay. But right now, what I'm trying to is, I'm explaining from my side what is the actual impact of the primary ledger. Okay. So why? So let me complete. Okay. If you have any questions, please make a note of it, because if we are going out of the topic, just please make a note in a piece of paper. Once I give it an opportunity, you can discuss on that. Okay. Otherwise, we had
Sure.
completely deviating the topic. Yeah. Fine. Fine. Let's guys, like, focus. Like, what is meant by primary ledger? It's a central repository. Okay. It's a central repository wherein all the information comes into one particular place, that is called as a primary ledger. So usually, what are the primary ledgers you have? This is also as per the geographical location. You have US, you have US primary ledger, you have UK primary ledger, you have UAE primary ledger. Why we are having this many primary ledgers? Okay, and why not? What is the purpose of getting all the data into the primary ledger? Can anyone have idea? What is the purpose of getting all the data into primary ledger? So you have an AP transactions, you have AR transactions, you have FA transactions, all subledger transactions. Subledger transactions will go and sit in GL primary ledger. Why? Do you have idea? Okay, I will tell you. So the purpose of getting all the data into the primary ledger is to generate all your financial reporting part. Okay. From this particular primary ledger only, all your reports like balance sheets, and income and expenditure, and statutory reports. Statutory reports which are which need for auditing all things like auditing and everything. So what is the purpose of creation of a primary ledger? So all the transactions, that is a book wherein all the transactions from your subledgers like AP, AR, fixed assets, everything, all the transactions wherever you see post to the ledger, those transactions will come and sit into your primary ledger. From your primary ledger only it will reflect into your financial statements, all your financial statements. Okay. In Fusion, what is the financial statements? So you call this as a FRS, okay, from Financial Reporting Studio. And here we call this as an FSG, Financial Statement Generator. Okay. So in Fusion, you call this as an FRS. Through FRS, you can create all your balance sheets and everything like income and expenditure statements and everything. Okay, in e-business article, we name that as a FSG, Financial Statement Generator. Through this, you can generate your balance sheet, financial reports, and everything. See, there is a flexibility also if there is an additional requirement. If the report is not feasible or flexible enough in able to do all the requirements, then what you have to do, you can go to BI Publisher. In both the ways, like here also, you call this as a BI Publisher. So BI Publisher is nothing but for generating your ad hoc reports, like for ad hoc, not only ad hoc reports, for all the custom reports. For an example, FSG is a financial statement generator, is a seeded application. Like it's in the normal application, seeded application. And if you go to the BI Publisher, there you can do the lot of customizations and whatever it is required, because they will having a good amount of data. From that particular data, you can just use different ways in generating the reports. So here also the same concept, and FRS is flexible, and if it is not possible, you can have BI catalog. Through BI catalog, you can create your reports through BI Publisher and as well as OTBI reporting. So there are two types of reporting here again in Fusion application. Through that also you can generate the reports as well. Okay, so now we'll come back again here. Why we are getting too many primary ledgers? Just put it here. Primary ledger, you have US primary ledger, you have UK primary ledger. So you have UK primary ledger, and you have UAE primary ledger. Like that, you will be having, as per the country specific, you will be having the primary ledgers. Why we are having as per the country specific primary ledgers? Because these primary ledgers are directed with the help of legal entities. Okay, legal entities. Legal entities will direct you. What is meaning by legal entity? Wherever your company is getting registered, okay, there the tax rules, tax laws, rules and regulations as per the as per the governing bodies and everything, it has to follow those type of rules and laws. For an example, if you take about US, you have a taxation called a state, a city, county, these kind of taxations you have in US. When it comes to UK, you have VAT. When it comes to UAE, it has a VAT tax. Right now we have the VAT. Prior to that, we don't have any taxation. If you go to the Canada, you have different type of taxations. So how many types of taxations we have? We have VAT, we have GST, we have HST, PST, I think so, HST and the PGT, I think so. This is called as homogeneous taxes, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I will definitely tell you that. For Canada, we have PST and HST as well. So if at all the application is not permitting you to go with that particular taxation, you still go ahead and do the localization part. You can go with the localization and you can go with the different taxation part. Okay. So what is the purpose of this legal entity? Wherever your company is getting registered, from that particular place, you have to create one legal entity. For an example, in US, your company is registered and it is got enrolled. Then you have to create one USA LE. Okay, legal entity. You can have multiple legal entities also in the same country because of the different time, different places. For an example, this is LE Connecticut. Okay, you have in USA again, you have an LE called Stanford. Okay, like that. You can have multiple legal entities which can be assigned to a single primary ledger. Okay, and it should be always from one-to-one relationship. From USA legal entity Stanford can be aligned to only one legal, that can be aligned to only one primary ledger. A one primary ledger can have multiple legal entities. Let me draw this. I will show you. A US primary ledger can have multiple legal entities, but whereas when it comes to the legal entity point of view, it is having only one primary ledger. It is always one-to-one relationship from backward direction and many to one to many directions from the topward direction, like this. You can have multiple like this. Okay, let me show you the complete picture of this. One second, guys. What I am trying to tell you is, in the beginning class, it would be very easy to understand. In the later point of time, once we started again, we cannot cover all these things. Okay, see here you can see the multi-arc structure is used to capture the multiple organization information in single data. So this is a particular business group. In this particular group, you have ledger 1 and ledger 2. Okay, in this particular ledger, you will be having one legal entity and two legal entities. Yeah. And under that legal entity, you will be having an operating unit. In this particular operating, you have purchase order, accounts payable, accounts receivable, order management, internet expenses, and project accounting. These are all called subledger accounting, subledger modules. Okay, so is it clear? So these are all called subledgers. And in this particular operating unit, again you have inventory organization, and again you have sub-inventory. So if you observe, this entire relationships will work based on one-to-one relationship from the backward direction. A subledger accounting will be holding with only one inventory organization, and one inventory organization can be holding with one operating unit. Imagine this inventory organization 1 cannot be linked with organization 2, operating unit 2. Okay, this inventory organization 1 cannot be linked with operating unit 2. It cannot be done. It is not possible. Only one way of direction. From backward direction, it will be one way, and from many directions, from the topwards, it can be having one to many relationship. Simple logic here also. So this is another example. This is a BG. This is a business group 2, and this is a ledger, legal entity, operating unit, inventory organization, and sub-inventory. This particular sub-inventory organization number 1 cannot be linked to this one. It can be having only one direction. So this is the process you have to follow in your while designing your structure as well. So the same thing concepts works in the e-business in your Fusion application also. Let's see about the Fusion application. How does the organization structure looks like?
Srinivas, what is FL?
Sub-inventory organization. Sub-inventory organization is something like your warehouse, and like for an example, your administration is office in one place, and for an example, you have an organization. You are dealing with one organization named called XYZ organization. You ordered for 100 laptops. You ordered for 100 laptops, and you have an administration office in something like an very prime location, and you have a small office room. If you ordered for 100 laptops directly, if the 100 laptops come to your office location, can you accommodate all those 100 laptops? So you don't have any space, right? You should be having a warehouse or separate department or a location wherein outside of the city, something like that. So they will be placed that point of time, and they will just move couple of things into your office location, and that office location will be various ways. So that's the reason you will be defining your inventory organization and as well as sub-inventory organization. Okay.
Okay.
So this is about legal entity and ledger. Let's see. Let's just like this. And this is about the enterprise structure snapshot. So this is about the defined enterprise structure. You can see here enterprise group, and this is the legal entities, corporate ledgers, balancing segments will be tied with your corporate ledgers, and the legal entities will do all kind of transactions. So though you are doing all these transactions in the business units, okay, you do all the transactions like AP, AR, and everything. All the transactions are doing in your business unit, and moving into this particular ledger. Before doing into this ledger, this legal entity will comes and plays a vital role while doing all your transactions as per the requirement basis. As I told you, right, like what are the things need to be followed by the government bodies, tax laws, rules, regulations, and everything will be taken care by this legal entity part. And yeah, this is about the business units, and these are all called departments, cost centers, and everything. So this is the definition of an enterprise structure. Don't worry, at this point of time, I will be defining one by one of, from the scratch level, and we will discuss that, and again we will post that back into your application. Okay. Now let me show you the legal entity and ledgers also. Yeah. So this is about the legal entity and ledger. How does the legal entity and ledger will work out? So this is the place wherein you have to update all your legal entities and ledger. First, you will be creating a primary ledger, and you will be assigning the primary legal entities and the specified ledger options and all these things. Slowly, I will scale up you in activating this legal entities and ledgers and everything. Okay. So that's the concept about a definition between Fusion enterprise structure and as well as the multi-org structure. And here's this business units remains the same. Whatever the business units here like AP, AR, FA, order management, and here we call it as a fusion expenses. Okay, like this. So same thing you will be having here, and also the same thing. So here also it's the same thing. Instead of fusion expenses, we will be having here as an I expenses, internet expenses. And distribution centers remains the same, like inventory organization. This remains the same. Okay. Any questions so far? Yeah. Any questions? You can unmute yourself and you can ask me the questions. Are you good? Kirti, Gautam, Manohar, Srinivas.
Yeah, good.
So this is just a basic introduction, like the terminologies, how you can see here. So going forward, we will be using all these terminologies only. We will be talking about enterprise, we will be talking about business unit, and all these things which we will be discussing. And we will be talking about LDG, something like that. So all of a sudden, if you heard about LDG, you might be getting something. What has been by LDG? We don't have that same word in our e-business article, something like that. So I just want to do it here itself. Okay. Now, so user roles. So just here also again in the Fusion application and e-business article. So here in Fusion, we call this everything in the terms of roles. In e-business article, we call this as a responsibility. Okay. So what kind of roles here are there and what kind of responsibilities are there here? In Fusion, what you do is here everything like if you want to create an end user, okay, if you want to create an end user part, employee or anything like here, the total can be done in implementation user and employee user. Okay, In Fusion, they have classified the users into two methods. Like one is an implementation user and the another guy is called as an employee user only. In e-business software, there is no concept of a classification of an implementation user or an employee user. Something like that, they did not classify. So they just given the roles. For an example, if you are an end user who is working on the general ledger, you will be giving an access called general ledger manager, general ledger user, something like that, general ledger user, something like that you will keep. If a person who wants to do the setup activity and who wants to do the setups for the general ledger and who wants to do the open a general ledger book or something like that, then here the roles is called as general ledger super user, right? So general ledger super user. If you are having a super user access means, then you will be having a functionality called setup functionality. Through that setups, you can define your primary ledger, legal entities, and everything. All those things can be done. Okay. So otherwise, if a person is having a general ledger user or something like that, then he is only able to do the day-to-day transaction. He can come and he can open the system and he can only do the general ledger transaction, day-to-day transactions. For example, debit and credit, expenses account data to cash account or rent account data to cash account. Those kind of transactions only he can do with this particular user, general ledger user. Whereas this particular user, he can do setups, right? That's the concept. It is available in this particular e-business software. It's all driven by responsibility level. Here in Fusion, everything is driven by the particular roles. So what are type of roles we have here in the Fusion application? We have job roles. Okay, so you have duty roles, we have data roles, and abstract roles. Okay, these are the roles which are available, and only we have two users. One is implementation user and one is employee user. Okay. So when it comes to job roles, duty roles, and data roles and abstract roles, what are these things? How do you want to compare with your e-business software? So job roles is nothing but in the menu functionality. Whatever the menus you have in e-business software, those things are being considered in as a job roles here. And duty roles are nothing but sub-menus. Sub-menus can be considered as here as a included duty roles. So data roles is nothing but functions. And there is a data role is a combination of responsibility and I'll show you primary ledger plus operating unit. Both. In latest releases, they have removed this abstract role. There is no more abstract role at the minute. Like in going forward, you don't see any abstract role. So the Fusion has been classified into 4 roles, and now there is no abstract role first of all. Okay, so there is only 3 roles now. First of all, earlier in release 11 in cloud release 11, you have this concept abstract role. Okay, now in release 13, we don't have this abstract role. They removed this. So now here the classification is job roles, duty roles, and data roles. How does this work out? In each and every responsibilities, you have the menus, sub-menus, functions, and everything like that, right? The same thing has been changed here in terms of job roles, duty roles, and data. Okay. Just remember this terminology. So once we go back to the application and we will just see the functionality about job roles and everything, we're going to define the custom roles as well, how to define a custom roles. For an example, you are doing a general ledger user, and I want to create a particular role called general ledger IBM, and in this particular IBM, I want both the things, whatever the functionalities are done by the user and as well as the super user, both the functionality has to come and sit into this particular general ledger IBM. How to do that? So that can be possible with the help of custom roles. That is also possible through custom roles. So here, just abstract role I will just mention here. What is in the abstract role is just nothing but employee role. Okay, nothing to do with this. We don't have nothing to do. That is the reason we are not even much explaining about this particular activity. Okay, so this is about the roles part and how does it works out here. So in e-business at all, what you do, you assign a particular administrator called system administrator, right? System administrator. And you go to the system administrator, you go to the define and user, and then you will be creating a new user with something called XYZ, and then you will be assigning the responsibilities, right? This is how the process is. Assigning the responsibilities. This is how you will do, right? So it's the same thing what here you can see. Here instead of system administrator, you will be having a concept called security console. Okay, so through this security console, you will be identifying, you will be selecting the term called user, and in this particular user, you will be creating the user details and everything, and you will be adding the role, add a role, and after that, you will be adding certain roles like whatever required. So for initially, so what we're going to discuss is we will be discussing about implementation user. For implementation user, what else you have to do? Application implementation consultant. Okay, this is the role which you have to assign. And IT security manager. These are the roles which you will be assigning to your users. So I will show you this into the application so that you will get a glance. Okay, so when it comes to the Fusion application, just to click on see right now what is the student we are using. FAS05 student is the username, and you can see on the top this is the username. So for an example, if you want to create your own user, how do you create it? Just to go to the task panel here, and here you can see here, just click on the more button and scroll down, you can see a security console. This is the security console. So in e-business as well, the security console it's more or less equal to system administrator. Just imagine there is a system administrator word. In e-business as well, we have a system administrator, and here we call this as a security console. I'm just comparing with both the applications. Okay, and come back here. This is the particular users I'm talking about. Just click on this particular user, and here is the add user account. So this is the place called add user account. Just click on add user account. So here you will be updating all the details, and here is the add role. This is the place you will be adding all your roles and everything, functionalities and everything. So right now what I'm trying to do is, what is my explanation is about, in e-business as well, we call this as a responsibilities. In Fusion, we call this as a roles. Got it? You got clarity, right? Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. In e-business as well, we call this as responsibilities. In Fusion, we call this as roles. And now what we are trying to do, we are trying to do an activator role. Okay. So how to do an activator role or something for a particular user? So from scratch, we can create, just place the cursor on the last name, and you can just go with, we'll go with 10, we'll just go with 25 REL. Just 35 REL IMPL. What is meant by IMPL? Implementation user. I'm just creating on my own. For an example, I'm just talking about Reliance company. Taking about a Reliance company as an example, and I'm trying to create IMPL as an implementation user. In your words, you can create your whatever your current organization. You can go with different names and everything, terminologies. Okay, the last name is like that. You just click here, 35 REL IMPL, and then give the password. Okay. So here is the add role. Just click on add role. So this is the place called add role, and you can add application implementation consultant. Application implementation consultant. Okay, select this application implementation consultant, add role. Okay. So this is how you will be adding the roles. What is the importance of application implementation consultant? So if you add this application implementation consultant, what you can do the setup activities, setup functionality can be done. Setups and everything, like whatever required for a primary ledger and everything can be done. This IT security manager can be given only for security console. If you need to access a security console and if you want to go ahead and you want to create a new users, then only you will be using this IT security manager. Let's go and check it out. I will just log out and log in and let's see like how does it will work out, whether I can see the security console or not. Okay, let's go back to the application. Let's go back to the application, save and close it. I'm not giving the security console. You've seen, right? Just I'm logging out. See, at this point of time, you can see, go here and here, click on the more. For this particular user, FAS05 student, you're able to see security console, right? Here is the security console you're able to see. And at the same time, come back here, you can see settings and actions and setup and maintenance. You can see here setup and maintenance. The minute you click on the setup and maintenance, what else you see? You will see all the functionalities, the one which we discussed on the other day. And you can go ahead and you can start creating the each and every activity. You can start creating a financials part. You can just click on the financials and you can go ahead with one by one activity of all. Okay, let me log out. Just log out, sign out. Click on confirm. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to change this to 35 RL PMPL. See, I just activated with 35 IM to RL IMPL. I've given only one role, right? What is one role? Implementation consultant, application implementation consultant. And now this particular user can do only the setup activity. He cannot assign any roles to any other person. So just go to the navigator. So there is no more button also. And you don't see anywhere, you don't see any security console. This is sales and services access. So you won't be able to see security console. Means this particular person can only perform only the activities, whatever it is assigned to him. So just go here, you can see setup and maintenance. Means this particular person can do the setup activity, but he cannot able to assign any new roles. Okay, or he cannot assign any own roles on to him. For an example, this particular person wants to go to general ledger access he required. He cannot do that on his own. He has to rely on a DBA guy or any other person who is having the security console access, something like that. In the same way, here also the person who is having a general ledger super user or a person who is having a system administrator can only add a roles, add a responsibilities to the other person. The person who is having Infusion, who is having an IT security manager role, then this particular person can able to perform the transaction. Can able to give access to other people as well. Got it? Are we clear on this? Similar to here. Hello, guys, are we clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yes.
So that's the reason I will just compare with the things there. Okay. Now I'm just logging out. Let's see. I'm just signing out. Click on confirm. Now go with FAS05 student. Okay. Just click here the navigator. Click on more. And click on security console. Place the user's account. Go 35 and let's go enter. NPA. Now click on edit This is how you will come back and you will edit the roles also. Okay. Now do IT Security Manager. The minute you click on IT Security Manager and select it, add role to the membership, you will click this. Click on that. Now again I'm logging out from this. Just click on sign out. Just click on confirm. Let's go with 35. Real INTL and check that. Now I have given a system administrator access point of time, like system administrator access which I have given to him. Now you can see here security console. Okay. For 35 REL INTL also you got security console. You can click on the security console again and you can access whatever the responsibilities you want, whatever the roles you want and everything. So click on the role 35 REL. On your own, you can activate more. This is how you will be. You can click on it and you can access whatever you want. So these two roles are very, very important. So one is application implementation consultant and the other one is for IT security. These two roles are very, very important for doing the setup activity and as well as for access point of. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so that's it guys for the day, and we'll continue in our tomorrow session. And day to day, whatever we do on this particular Excel sheet, I will just load it again back into your portal on a weekly basis. I will be providing. Okay, on a daily basis, it is not possible. Every day I have to send an emails to them, and again, it is not possible. So we will try to do that as per weekly basis. On weekly basis, these Excel sheets will be shared to you. Okay. So that's it guys. Any questions? This is about the enterprise structure and this is about the user roles. So we discussed about user roles and as well as enterprise structure today, and we'll scale up slowly in our day. Any questions? Fine, right? So we'll